Carrying on Jubilees in chapter 36. Now, in the 6th year of this week, Isaac called his two sons, Esau and Jacob, and they came to him. And he said to them, "My sons, I am going the way of my fathers to the eternal house where my fathers are. Wherefore bury me near Abraham my father in the double cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, where Abraham purchased a sepulchre to bury in the sepulchre which I dug for myself there to bury me. And this I command you, my sons, to practice righteousness and uprightness on the earth, so that Yah may bring upon you all that Yah said that he would do to Abraham and to his seed, and love one another, my sons, your brothers, as a man who loves his own soul, and let each seek in what he may benefit his brother, and act together on the earth, and let them love each other as their own souls. And concerning the question of idols, I command those that bow down to them. Remember ye, my sons, Yah, creator of Abraham, your father, and how I too worship him and served him in righteousness and in joy, and he might multiply you and increase your seed as the stars of heaven in multitude, and establish you on the earth as the plant of righteousness, which will not be rooted out to all generations forever. And now I shall make you swear a great oath, for there is no oath which is greater than it by the name glorious and honored and great and splendid and wonderful and mighty, which created the heavens and the earth and all things together, that you will fear him and worship him, and that each will love his brother with affection and righteousness, and that neither will desire evil against his brother from henceforth forever all the days of your life, so that you may prosper in all your deeds and not be destroyed. And if either of you devises evil against his brother, know that from henceforth everyone that devises evil against his brother shall fall into his hand, and shall be rooted out of the land of the living, and his seed shall be destroyed from under heaven. But on the day of turbulence and execration and indignation and anger, with flaming devouring fire, as he burnt Sodom, so likewise will he burn his land and his city and all that is his, and he shall be blotted out of the book of the discipline of the children of men, and not be recorded in the book of life, but in that is appointed to destruction, and he shall depart into eternal execration, so that their condemnation may be always renewed in hate and in execration and wrath and in torment and in indignation and in plagues and in diseases forever. I say and testify to you, my sons, according to the judgment which shall come upon the man who wishes to injure his brother. And he divided all his possessions between the two on that day, and he gave the larger portion to him that was the first. I will give to the firstborn. And Esau said, I have sold to Jacob and given my birthright to Jacob, to him let it be given, and I have not a single word to say regarding it, for it is his. Isaac said, May a blessing rest upon you, my sons, and upon your seed this day, for you have given me rest, and my heart is not pained concerning the birthright, lest you shouldest work wickedness on account of it. May the Most High, Yah, bless the man that worketh righteousness, him and his seed forever. And he ended commanding them and blessing them, and they eat and drank together before him, and he rejoiced because there was one mind between them, and they went out from him and rested that day and slept. And Isaac slept on his bed that day, rejoicing, and he slept the eternal sleep, and died 180 years old. He completed 25 weeks and 5 years, and his two sons, Esau and Jacob, buried him. And Esau went to the land of Edom, to the mountains of Seir, and dwelt there. And Jacob dwelt in the mountains of Hebron, in the tower of the land of the sojournings of his father Abraham. And he worshipped Yah with all his heart, and according to the visible commands, according as he had divided the days of his generations. And Leah his wife died in the 4th year of the 2nd week of the 45th Jubilee, and he buried her in the double cave near Rebekah his mother. to the left of the grave of Sarah, his father's mother. And all her sons and his sons came to mourn over Leah, his wife, with him, and to comfort him regarding her. For he was lamenting her, for he loved her exceedingly after Rachel, her sister, died. For she was perfect and upright in all her ways and honored Jacob. And all the days that she lived with him, he did not hear from her mouth a harsh word, for she was gentle and peaceable and upright and honorable. And he remembered all her deeds which she had done during her life, and he lamented her exceedingly, for he loved her with all his heart and with all his soul. All right. So all this random and not be able to read too. You okay? All right, chapter 37. And on the day that Isaac, the father of Jacob and Esau, died, the sons of Esau heard that Isaac had given the portion of the elder to his younger son, Jacob, and they were very angry. And they strove with their father, saying, Why has your father given Jacob the portion of the elder and passed over you, although you are the elder and Jacob the younger? And he said to them, Because I sold my birthright to Jacob for a small mass of lentils, and on the day my father sent me to hunt and catch and bring something that he should eat and bless me, he came with guile and brought my father food and drink, and my father blessed him and put me under his hand. And now you to make peace with him, for our strength is greater than his strength, and we are more powerful than he. We shall go against him and slay him and destroy him and his sons. And if you must not go with us, we shall do hurt to you also. And now listen to us. Let us send Aram and Philistia and Moab and Ammon. Let us choose for ourselves chosen men who are ardent for battle, and let us go against him and do battle with him, and let us exterminate him from the earth before he grows strong. And their father said to them, Do not go and do not make war with him, lest you fall before him. And they said to him, This too is exactly your mode of action from your youth until this day, and you are putting your neck under his yoke. We shall not listen to these words. And they sent Aram and to Aduram, to the friend of their father. And they hired along with them 1,000 fighting men, chosen men of war. And there came to them from Moab and from the children of Ammon those who were chosen fighting men, and from the Kittim mighty men of war. And they said to their father, Go forth with them and lead them, else we shall slay you. And he was filled with wrath and indignation on seeing that his sons were forcing him to go before them to lead them against Jacob his brother. But afterward he remembered all the evil which lay hidden in his heart against Jacob his brother. Well, it's don't want to go into this spirit. Nobody wants to go into the spiritual condition of Esau. Yeah. Get the inside of the cup clean. And he did not remember the oath which he had sworn to his father and to his mother to devise no evil all his days against Jacob his brother. And notwithstanding all this, Jacob knew not that they were coming to battle, and he was mourning for Leah his wife until they approached very near to the tower with 4,000 warriors and chosen men of war. And the men of Hebron sent to him, saying, Behold, your brother has come against you to fight you with 4,000 girt with the sword, and they carry shields and weapons. For they loved Jacob more than Esau, so they told him. For Jacob was a more liberal and merciful man than Esau, but Jacob would not believe until they came very near to the tower, and he closed the gates of the tower, and he stood on the battlements and spoke to his brother Esau, and said, Noble is the comfort wherewith you have come to comfort me for my wife who has died. Is this the oath that you swore to your father and again to your mother before they died? You have broken the oath, and on the moment that you swore to your father were you condemned. And then Esau answered and said to him, neither the children of men nor the beasts of the earth have any oath of righteousness sworn for all time, but every day they devise evil against one another, and how each man may slay his adversary and foe. And you do hate me and my children forever, and there is no observing the tie of brotherhood with you. Hear these words which I declare to you. If the boar can change its skin and make its bristles as soft as wool, or if it can cause horns to sprout forth on its head, like the horns of a stag or of a sheep, then will I observe the tie of brotherhood with you. And if the breasts separated themselves from their mother, for you have not been a brother to me, and if the wolves make peace with the lambs so as not to devour or do them violence, and if their hearts are towards them for good, then there shall be peace in my heart towards you. Then will I make peace with you. And when the raven becomes white as the raza, then know that I have loved you and shall make peace with you. You shall be rooted out, and your sons shall be rooted out, and there shall be no peace for you. And when Jacob saw that he was so evilly disposed towards him with his heart and with all his soul as to slay him, and that he had come springing like the wild boar, which comes upon the spear that pierces and kills it and recoils not from it, then he spoke to his own and to his servants that they should attack him and all his companions. It reminds me of a scripture. I think it's somewhere in Psalms. I don't know how much it would have to do with this, how much hope there is for those that would be Esau, um, that talks about paradise conditions where the lion and the ox would actually eat together, I think. So, whew, people got to watch themselves. And okay, we're gonna move on to 38 soon here. And after that, Judah spoke to Jacob his father. This is chapter 38 now. And said to him, bend your bow, father, and send forth your arrows and cast down the adversary and slay the enemy, and may you have the power, for we shall not slay your brother, for he is such as you, and he is like you. Let us give him this honor. Then Jacob bent his bow and sent forth the arrow and struck Esau his brother on his right breast and slew him. And again he sent forth an arrow and struck Adaran the Aramean on the left breast and drove him backward and slew him. And then went out the sons of Jacob, they and their servants, dividing themselves into companies on the four sides of the tower. And Judah went out in front, and Naphtali and Gad with him, and 50 servants with him on the south side of the tower. And they slew all they found before them, and not one individual of them escaped. And Levi and Dan and Asher went out on the east side of the tower, and 50 men with them, and they slew the fighting men of Moab and Ammon. And Reuben and Issachar and Zebulun went out on the north side of the tower, and 50 men with them, and they slew the fighting men of the Philistines, and Simon and Benjamin and Enoch. Reuben's son went out on the west side of the tower, and 50 men with them, and they slew of Edom and of the Horites 400 men, stout warriors, and 600 fled, and 4 of the sons of Esau fled with them, and left their father lying slain as he had fallen on the hill which is in Aduram. And the sons of Jacob pursued them to the mountains of Seir, and Jacob buried his brother on the hill which is in Aduram, and he returned to his house. And the sons of Jacob pressed hard upon the sons of Esau in the mountains of Seir, and bowed their necks, so that they became servants of the son of Jacob. And they sent to their father to ask if they should make peace with them or slay them. And Jacob sent word to his sons that they should make peace, and they made peace with them, and placed the yoke of servitude upon them, so that they paid tribute to Jacob and to his sons always. And they continued to pay tribute to Jacob until the day that he went down into Egypt. And the sons of Edom have not got quit of the yoke. There reigned any king over the children of Israel until this day in the land of Edom. And Balak the son of Beor reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Balak died, and Jobab, and the son of Zerah of Besor, reigned in his stead. And Jobab died, and Esem of the land of Timon reigned in his stead, and Esem died. And Adath, the son of Berad, who slew Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead, and the name of his city was Ebith. And Adath died, and Salmon from Ameskia reigned in his stead. And Salmon died, and Saul of Raboth by the river reigned in his stead. And Saul died, and Baalunan, the son of Achbor, reigned in his stead. And Baalunan, the son of Achbor, died, and Adath reigned in his stead. And the name of his wife was Metabith, the daughter of Matarat, the daughter of Metzbazab. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom. No, not high today. I haven't felt like getting high at all. I had some roaches, and then I had a friend that was hurting for pot, so I was like, I got some roaches, and then he ended up like taking all but one, and that's fine. I don't feel like any weed. Anyways, reality's been trippy enough. You had the northern lights happening all over the world again. I seen a bunch of geese flying north, and it's like basically winter. I don't know, they're supposed to be going south for the winter. And yeah, there's been sirens around the same time every night. And I think people are gonna go really nuts around their friggin' Christmas this year. I think people are gonna go extra nuts around Black Friday and all that, and they shouldn't be doing Christmas. Jeremiah 10, especially if they claim to believe the Bible. But they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and yeah, I won't get too much into like extra biblical books that I've read in that. Something in Shepherd of Hermes, like about people doing the wrong things and inviting messengers of iniquity within their vessels. Times where people would be doing a lot of transactions and overreaching, and going to go and get this and get that, and like buy this and buy that for this person, and you know, spiritual warfare is ramped up. So I think people are gonna really go nuts, and yeah, reality's kind of messed up as enough as it is. I don't really feel like getting high right now. So no puffs today. Take some puffs at the right time. And Jacob dwelt in the land of his fathers, sojournings in the land of Canaan. We're on chapter 39 now. And Jacob dwelt in the land of his fathers, sojournings in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob, and Joseph was 17 years old when they took him down into the land of Egypt, and Potiphar, an eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief cook, bought him, and he set Joseph over all his house. And okay, so we jumped pretty far ahead to when Joseph was sold. Now that's what it's talking about now in chapter 39 of Jubilees. And Jacob dwelt in the land of his fathers, sojournings in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob, and Joseph was 17 years old when they took him down into the land of Egypt. And Potiphar, a eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief cook, bought him, and he set Joseph over all his house. And the blessing of Yah came upon the house of the Egyptian on account of Joseph. And Yah prospered him in all that he did. And the Egyptian committed everything into the hands of Joseph, for he saw that Yah was with him, and that Yah prospered him in all that he did. And Joseph's appearance was comely and very beautiful was his appearance, and his master's wife lifted up her eyes and saw Joseph, and she loved him and besought him to lie with her. But he did not surrender his soul, and he remembered Yeah, and the words which Jacob his father used to read from amongst the words of Abraham, that no man should commit fornication with a woman who has a husband, that for him the punishment of death has been ordained in the heavens before the Most High, Yah, and the sin will be recorded against him in the eternal books continually before Yah. And Joseph remembered these words and refused to lie with her. And she besought him for a year, but he refused and would not listen. If you, and The 12 patriarchs, um, this Potiphar's wife really harassed Joseph to the extent that in the 12 patriarchs he was happy when he got sent to jail. He was singing and praising, yeah, because yeah, it's there was more to it. Yeah, she was making his life miserable by how much she was trying to like get him to do wrong. All right, verse 9 of chapter 39. But she embraced him and held him fast in the house in order to force him to lie with her, and closed the doors of the house and held him fast. But he left his garment in her hands and broke through the door and fled without from her presence. And the woman saw that he would not lie with her, and she calumniated him in the presence of his Lord, saying, Your Hebrew servant, whom you love, has sought to force me so that he might lie with me. And it came to pass, when I lifted up my voice, that he fled and left his garment in my hands. When I held him, and he brake through the door, and the Egyptians saw the garment of Joseph and the broken door, and heard the words of his wife, and cast Joseph into prison, into the place where the prisoners were kept, whom the king imprisoned. And he was left there in prison. And Yah gave Joseph favor in the sight of the chief of the prison guards, and compassion before him, for he saw that Yah was with him, and that Yah made all that he did to prosper. And he committed all things into his hands. And the chief of the prison guards knew of nothing that was with him, for Joseph did everything, and Yah perfected it. And he remained there 2 years. And in those days, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, was angry against his two eunuchs, against the chief butler and against the chief baker. And he put them in ward in the house of the chief cook, in the prison where Joseph was kept. And the chief of the prison guards appointed Joseph to serve them, and he served before them. And they both dreamed a dream, the chief butler and the chief baker, and they told it to Joseph. And as he interpreted to them, so it befell them. And Pharaoh restored the chief butler to his office, and the chief baker he slew, as Joseph had interpreted to them. But the chief butler forgot Joseph in the prison, although he had informed him what would befall him, and he did not remember to inform Pharaoh how Joseph had told him, for he forgot. And we're on chapter 40 now. And in those days, Pharaoh dreamed two dreams in one night concerning a famine which was to be in all the land. And he awoke from his sleep and called all the interpreters of dreams that were in Egypt and magicians, and told them his two dreams, and they were not able to declare them. And then the chief butler remembered Joseph and spoke of him to the king, and he brought him forth from the prison, and he told his two dreams before him. And he said before Pharaoh that his two dreams were one. And he said to him, 7 years shall come in which there shall be plenty over all the land of Egypt, and after that 7 years of famine, such a famine as has not been in all the land. And now let Pharaoh appoint overseers in all the land of Egypt, and let them store up food in every city throughout the days of the years of plenty. And there will be food for the 7 years of famine, and the land will not perish through the famine, for it will be very severe. And Yah gave Joseph favor and mercy in the eyes of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to his servants, We shall not find such a wise and discreet man as this man, for the spirit of Yah is with him. And he appointed him the second in all his kingdom, and gave him authority over all Egypt, and caused him to ride in the second chariot of Pharaoh. And he clothed him with byssus garments, and he put a gold chain upon his neck. And the herald proclaimed before him, El Wa Abirir, and placed a ring on his hand. and made him a rule over all his house, and magnified him, and said to him, Only on the throne shall I be greater than you. And Joseph ruled over all the land of Egypt, and all the princes of Pharaoh, and all his servants, and all who did the king's business loved him. For he walked in uprightness, for he was without pride and arrogance, and he had no respect to persons, and did not accept gifts, but he judged in uprightness all the people of the land. And the land of Egypt was at peace before Pharaoh because of Joseph, for Yah was with him and gave him favor and mercy for all his generations before all those who knew him and those who heard concerning him. And Pharaoh's kingdom was well ordered, and there was no Satan and no evil person therein. And the king called Joseph's name Sephantiphens, and gave Joseph to wife the daughter of Potiphar, the daughter of the priest of Helopius, the chief cook. And on the day that Joseph stood before Pharaoh, he was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh. And in the year Isaac died, it came to pass as Joseph had said in the interpretation of his two dreams, according as he had said it. There were 70 years of plenty over all the land of Egypt, and the land of Egypt abundantly produced one measure, producing 1,800 measures. And Joseph gathered food into every city until they were full of corn, until they could no longer count and measure it for its multitude. I think we could do a couple or a few more chapters. Be good if I had some yellow glasses. Help me look at this screen. Tamar, but he hated and did not lie with her because his mother was of the daughters of Canaan, and he wished to take him a wife of the kinsfolk of his mother. But Judah his father would not permit him, and this the firstborn of Judah, was wicked, and Yah slew him. And Judah said to Onan his brother, Go into your brother's wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her, and raise up seed to your brother. And Onan knew that the seed would not be his, but his brother's only, and he went into the house of his brother's wife and spilt the seed on the ground, and he was wicked in the eyes of Yah, and he slew him. And Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, Remain in your father's house as a widow till Shelah, my son, be grown up, and I shall give you to him to wife. And he grew up. But Bidsul, the wife of Judah, did not permit her son Shelah to marry, and Bidsul, the wife of Judah, died in the 5th year of this week. In the 6th year, Judah went up to shear his sheep at Timnah, and they told Tamar, Behold, your father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear his sheep. And she put off her widow's clothes, and put on a veil, and adorned herself, and sat in the gate adjoining the way to Timnah. And as Judah was going along, he found her, and thought her to be an harlot. And he said to her, Let me come in to you. And she said to him, Come in. And he went in. And she said to him, Give me my hire. And he said to her, I have nothing in my hand, save my ring that is on my finger, and my necklace, and my staff which is in my hand. And she said to him, Give them to me until you do send me my hire. And he said to her, I will send to you a kid of the goats. And he gave them to her. And she conceived by him. And Judah went to his sheep, and she went to her father's house. And Judah sent a kid of the goats by the hand of his shepherd and a Dulamite, and he found her not. And he asked the people of the place, saying, Where is the harlot who was here? And they said to him, There is no harlot here with us. And he returned and informed him, and said to him that he had not found her. I asked the people of the place, and they said to me, There is no harlot here. And he said, Let her keep them, lest we become a cause of derision. And when she had completed 3 months, it was manifest that she was with child. And they told Judah, saying, Behold, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, is with child by whoredom. And Judah went to the house of her father, and said to her father and her brothers, Bring her forth and let them burn her, for she has done uncleanliness in Israel. And it came to pass when they brought her forth to burn her, that she sent to her father-in-law the ring and the necklace and the staff, saying, Discern whose are these, for by him am I with child. And Judah acknowledged and said, Tamar is more righteous than I am, and therefore let them not burn her. And for that reason she was not given to Shelah, and he did not again approach her. And after that she bore two sons, Perez and Zerah, in the 7th year of the 2nd week. And thereupon the 7 years of fruitfulness were accomplished, of which Joseph spoke to Pharaoh. And Judah acknowledged that the deed which he had done was evil, for he had lain with his daughter-in-law, and he esteemed it hateful in his eyes. And he acknowledged that he had transgressed and gone astray, for he had uncovered the skirt of his son. And he began to lament and to supplicate before Yah because of his transgression. He told him in a dream that it was forgiven him because he supplicated earnestly and lamented and did not again commit it. And he received forgiveness because he turned from his sin and from his ignorance, for he transgressed greatly before Yah. And everyone that acts thus, everyone who lies with his mother-in-law, let them burn him with fire, that he may burn therein. There is uncleanliness and pollution upon them. With fire let them burn them. And command the children of Israel that there be no uncleanliness among them. For everyone who lies with his daughter-in-law or his mother-in-law has committed uncleanliness. With fire let them burn the man who has lain with her, and likewise the woman, and he will turn away wrath and punishment from Israel. And to Judah we said that his two sons had not lain with her, and for this reason his seed was established for a second generation, it would not be rooted out. For in singleness of eye he had gone and sought for punishment, namely according to the judgment of Abraham, which he had commanded his sons. Judah had sought to burn her with fire. And in the I'm gonna read 42. And in the 1st year of the 3rd week of the 45th Jubilee, the famine began to come into the land. Famine began to come into land, and rain refused to be given to the earth, for none whatever fell, and the earth grew barren. But in the land of Egypt there was food, for Joseph had gathered the seed of the land in the 7 years of plenty, and had preserved it. And the Egyptians came to Joseph that he might give them food, and he opened the storehouses where was the grain of the 1st year, and he sold it to the people of the land for gold. And Jacob heard that there was food in Egypt, and he sent his 10 sons that they should procure food for him in Egypt. But Benjamin he did not send, and arrived among those that went there. And Joseph recognized them, but they did not recognize him. And he spoke to them and questioned them. And he said to them, Are you not spies, and have you not come to explore the approaches of the land? And he put them inward. And after that he set them free again, and detained Simon alone, and sent off his 9 brothers. And he filled their sacks with corn, and he put their gold in their sacks, and they did not know. And he commanded them to bring their younger brother, for they had told him their father was living, and their younger brother. And they went up from the land of Egypt, and they came to the land of Canaan, and they told their father all that had befallen them, and how the Lord of the country had spoken roughly to them, and had seized Simon till they should bring Benjamin. And Jacob said, Me you have bereaved, my children. And Joseph is not, and Simon also is not, and you will take Benjamin away. On me has your wickedness come. And he said, My son will not go down with you, lest perchance he fall sick. For their mother gave birth to 2 sons, and one has perished, and this one also you will take from me. If perchance he took a fever on the road, you would bring down my old age with sorrow to death. For he saw that the money had been returned to every man in his sack, and for this reason he feared to send them. And the famine increased and became sore in the land of Canaan, and in all the lands served in the land of Egypt, for many of the children of the Egyptians had stored up their seed for food from the time when they saw Joseph gathering seed together and putting it in storehouses and preserving it for the years of famine. And the people of Egypt fed themselves thereon during the first year of the famine. But when Israel saw that the famine was very sore in the land and there was no deliverance, he said to his sons, "Go again and procure food for us that we may not die." And they said, "We shall not go unless our youngest brother go with us. We shall not go." And Israel saw that if he did not send him with them, they should all perish by reason of the famine. And Reuben said, "Give him into my hand, and if I do not bring him back to you, slay my two sons instead of his soul." And he said to him, "He shall not go with you." And Judah came near and said, "Send him with me, and if I do not bring him back to you, let me bear the blame before you all the days of my life." And he sent him with them in the second year of the first week, on the first day of the month. And they came to the land of Egypt with all those who went, and they had presents in their hands, stacked, and almonds, and terebinth nuts, and pure honey. And they went and stood before Joseph, and he saw Benjamin his brother, and he knew him, and said to them, "Is this your youngest brother?" And they said to him, "It is he." And he said, "Yeah, be gracious to you, my son." And he sent him into his house, and he brought forth Simon to them, and he made a feast for them. And they presented to him the gift which they had brought in their hands, and they eat before him, and he gave them all a portion. But the portion of Benjamin was 7 times larger than that of any of theirs. And they eat and drank and arose and remained with their donkeys. And Joseph devised a plan whereby he might learn their thoughts as to whether thoughts of peace prevailed amongst them. And he said to the steward who was over his house, "Fill all their sacks with food, and return their money to them into their vessels. And my cup, the silver cup, out of which I drink, put it in the sack of the youngest, and send them away." All right. I think that'll be all for now. There's like 7 chapters left of Jubilees, and oh, all right. Buenos noches.